our new Treasury Secretary of the United States, Steven Mnuchin. Steven, I want to congratulate you. A lot of people wanted that position, Steven. A lot of people. A lot of very successful people. But I've known you for a long time, and I know how smart you are and how great you will be for our country. So congratulations to you, to Louise, and to your whole family. Americans should know that Steven, our nation's financial system, is truly in great hands. With him, we're going to have no problem, believe me. Once again, with this appointment, I am following through on my promise to appoint only the very best and the very brightest. Steven is a financial legend with an incredible track record of success. I've watched this over the years. He's been my friend for many, many years. Everything he touched has turned to gold. He's done an amazing job, and that's what we want for our country. He's distinguished himself through decades of achievement in finance and in banking, and has a degree of skill, talent, and insight that few will ever be able to match. He has spent his entire career making money in the private sector, and that's okay, especially when you're Secretary of the Treasury. That's what we want. Now he will go to work on behalf of the American taxpayer. To all citizens, I say, Steven will be your champion, and a great champion. He will fight for middle-class tax reductions, financial reforms that open up lending and create millions of new jobs, and fiercely defend the American tax dollar and our financial security. And he will also defend our manufacturing jobs from those who cheat and steal and rob us blind. It won't be that anymore. We won't have that anymore. Countries and others won't be able to take advantage of us. It's a whole new era. Steven knows the system, and he will help ensure that Wall Street plays by the rules. He will use his insights to get the best possible result, most importantly, for the American worker. They've been treated very unfairly for a long time, not anymore. He will put his skills to work for America's working families, and he will help make America the greatest jobs magnet on the face of the earth. It will truly be, for our country, for the first time in a long time, a rising tide that lifts all boats and that lifts all ships. Steven, I want to again congratulate you and Louise on this unbelievably high honor. This is one of the great honors. I know you will carry your office with dedication, integrity, and passion, tremendous passion. You have much very important work ahead for the American citizens, and you will have absolutely no problem. He'll work 24 hours a day. I know him. He'll work 28 hours a day if they give him the extra 4 hours. He will be very, very special. So I'd like to just say, so importantly, God bless you, God bless America, and congratulations. Thank you, Steve.
On behalf of President Trump, it's my great privilege to administer to you the oath of office. Put your left hand on the Bible and your right hand raised. Repeat after me. I, Steven Mnuchin, do solemnly swear.
I, Steven Mnuchin, do solemnly swear.
That I will support and defend the Constitution of the United States.
That I shall support and defend the Constitution of the United States.
Against all enemies.
Against all enemies.
Foreign and domestic.
Foreign and domestic.
That I will bear true faith and allegiance to the same.
That I shall bear true faith and allegiance to the same.
That I take this obligation freely.
That I take this obligation freely.
Without any mental reservation.
Without any mental reservation.
Or purpose of evasion.
Or purpose of evasion.
And that I will well and faithfully discharge the duties.
And I will well and faithfully discharge the duties.
Of the office upon which I am about to enter.
Upon the office of which I am about to enter.
So help me God.
So help me God.
Congratulations, Mr. President.
Mr. President, I want to thank you for this extraordinary opportunity to serve you and the country as the Secretary of Treasury. It has been a great experience to travel around the country with you for the last year, seeing so many parts of this country and meeting hundreds of business leaders. I share your economic vision and goals and committed to working with you to enact policies to grow the economy and make better economic opportunities for all Americans. I would also like to thank the Vice President Pence for the honor of swearing me in and for all your support in this job. There have been so many people that have helped me in this process, and I want to thank them all as they helped prepare me for the role of Secretary, and I want to thank them. It's a great honor to follow in the footsteps of Alexander Hamilton and so many great Treasury secretaries. I look forward to working with the entire great staff of the Treasury Department. I am committed to using the full powers of this office to create more jobs, to combat terrorist activities and financing, and to make America great again. Thank you.
Thank you, everybody.
Thank you.
Do you have confidence in Michael Flynn, Mr. President?
What exactly will you be evaluating with Michael Flynn?
Ladies and gentlemen, the President of the United States and the Prime Minister of Canada.
Thank you. Prime Minister Trudeau, on behalf of all Americans, I thank you for being with us today. It is my honor to host such a great friend, neighbor, and ally at the White House, a very special place. This year, Canada celebrates the 150th year of Confederation. For Americans, this is one of the many milestones in our friendship, and we look forward, very much forward, I must say, to many more to come. Our two nations share much more than a border. We share the same values, we share the love, and a truly great love of freedom, and we share a collective defense. American and Canadian troops have gone to battle together, fought wars together, and forged the special bonds that come when two nations have shed their blood together, which we have. In these dangerous times, it is more important than ever that we continue to strengthen our vital alliance. The United States is deeply grateful for Canada's contribution to the counter-ISIS effort. Thank you. And we continue to work in common and in common cause against terrorism and work in common cooperation toward reciprocal trade and shared growth. We understand that both of our countries are stronger when we join forces in matters of international commerce. Having more jobs and trade right here in North America is better for both the United States and is also much better for Canada. We should coordinate closely, and we will coordinate closely to protect jobs in our hemisphere and keep wealth on our continent. and to keep everyone safe. Prime Minister, I pledge to work with you in pursuit of our many shared interests. This includes a stronger trading relationship between the United States and Canada. It includes safe, efficient, and responsible cross-border travel and migration. And it includes close partnership on domestic and international security. America is deeply fortunate to have a neighbor like Canada. We have before us the opportunity to build even more bridges, and bridges of cooperation, and bridges of commerce. Both of us are committed to bringing greater prosperity and opportunity to our people. We just had a very productive meeting with women business leaders from the United States and Canada, where we discussed how to secure everything that we know the full power of women can do better than anybody else. We know that. I just want to say, Mr. Prime Minister, that I'm focused and you're focused on the important role women play in our economies. We must work to address the barriers faced by women and women entrepreneurs, including access to capital, access to markets, and, very importantly, access to networks. In our discussion today, we will focus on improving the ways our government and our governments together can benefit citizens of both the United States and Canada, and in so doing, advance the greater peace and stability of the world. Mr. Prime Minister, I look forward to working closely with you to build upon our very historic friendship. There are incredible possibilities for us to pursue Canada and the United States together. Again, thank you for joining us, and I know our discussions will be very, very productive for the future of both countries. Mr. Prime Minister.
Thank you, Mr. President. Good afternoon, everyone. Thank you very much for joining us. I'd first like to start by extending my sincere thanks to President Trump for inviting me down to Washington. Any day I get to visit our southern neighbors is a good day in my books, particularly when it's so nice and warm compared to what it is back home. We are suffering under a significant winter storm that's hitting our Atlantic provinces particularly harsh, so I just want to send everyone back at home my thoughts as they shovel out and impress on everyone to stay safe. Le Président et moi avons eu une première...
The President and myself have had a very productive first meeting today. We had the opportunity to get to know one another better, and more importantly, we had the opportunity to talk about the unique relationship between Canada and the United States.
Citizens on both sides of the 49th parallel have understood that the bond between our nations is a special one. No other neighbors in the entire world are as fundamentally linked as we are. We've fought in conflict zones together, negotiated environmental treaties together, including 1991's historic air quality agreement, and we've entered into groundbreaking economic partnerships that have created good jobs for both of our peoples. Canadians and Americans alike share a common history, as well as people-to-people ties that make us completely and totally integrated. Our workers are connected by trade, transportation, and cross-border commerce. Our communities rely on each other for security, stability, and economic prosperity. Our families have long lived together and worked together. We know that more often than not, our victories are shared. And just as we celebrate together, so too do we suffer loss and heartbreak together. Through it all, the foundational pillar on which our relationship is built is one of mutual respect. And that's a good thing, because as we know, relationships between neighbors are pretty complex, and we won't always agree on everything. But because of our deep, abiding respect for one another, we're able to successfully navigate those complexities and still remain the closest of allies and friends. Make no mistake, at the end of the day, Canada and the U.S. will always remain each other's most essential partner. And today's conversations have served to reinforce